Hey, amazing people. I had started the video and then a silverfish was on me. I don't know where it came from, whether it fell from the ceiling. I don't know, but it gave me the heebie-jeebies. So I had to start over. Oof. I don't know if you know what those little silverfishes are, but I tend to see them a lot in here. And I Googled why, and it's just because this house is brick and wood. Ooh. Anywho, Tracy Lene, still in the Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. I was telling you all that while I was on the walk today, in my neighborhood, we have a little book nook where you can put a book in and you can take a book out. And today I took this book out because this was my favorite book. I was in the 4th grade. It was the first book I read from cover to cover. My sister was an avid reader. She's 5 years younger than me, and she was reading at 3. About 4 years old, and I'm not exaggerating, she would read all of the fairy tale books from cover to cover over and over again. And for a 4-year-old, that's a whole lot. So I'm 5 years older than her. So I'm like, I need to start reading. And I started reading this book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Love this book. I think I'm going to read this one to y'all because it is spiritual, because Margaret is celebrating, understanding her spirituality. Anywho, let's get to the divine law of compensation and that silver fish that was just, I like, was like, what's that? Felt something, and I did it and I saw it fall, and it was, ooh. And so I usually I don't redo videos, but I wasn't gonna let y'all see all of that. Anywho, let's get into this one. If mommy or daddy or a teacher or a mate, anyone else you might have met along the way, taught you for whatever reason that your job is to keep your head down, then bless them, but know that they were misinformed. A Course in Miracles claim that those who have achieved the most in the world have achieved only a fraction of what each of us is capable of. And that means that you have as much achievement potential as any great artist, scientist, or anyone else who has ever lived. So can you imagine how much more was in Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan or Michael Jackson or Beyonce or Einstein? If they only achieved a fraction, my God, I just want to get to a fraction of what I can do. Unlimited potential lies within you, just waiting to be activated by your own affirmative response to the idea. Once you know this, you become a magnet for worldly success. You work from joy and the universe responds. You open your heart to love and the way is made clear for you. Love, in whatever form would serve us, is always coming toward us. Our job is not to go out and find it, but to allow it to find us. Money isn't something that we go out and make. It's also something we have. Money isn't just something that we go out and make. It's also something we have to be able to sit still and receive. The ego doesn't want you to believe this, but all you have to do is open up your heart and all the abundance you need will find its way to your door. Page just got stuck. Remember when I dropped water on it the last time? There we go. One morning, I was picked up by a car service for a drive to the airport. I asked the young man who was driving whether he was new to the company, as I hadn't seen him before. Yes, he had just moved to Los Angeles from New York. Let me guess, I said, smiling. Actor. Well, he said, writer, painter, but I don't know. I do a lot of things. I asked him what kind of painter he was and what kind of writer. I write dramas, but I don't know. I think I'll need to write something else in order to get something sold. He appeared to be struggling with his predicament. What does that mean? I asked. Like horror films or something? He nodded knowingly and rolled his eyes. I wondered how he was going to attract a sale by writing something he didn't even like to write. What I need to do is network, he told me. I lived here before and I knew a lot of people. He then rattled off some of the names of successful producers and directors as though if he only had impressed them before, he'd be living in Bel Air by now. So I had the relationships, I just didn't know how to. He moved his arms around as though to say he didn't know how to schmooze, to do the dance. He seemed to see this as the gift of his failure. But my real problem, he continued, is that I don't know how to write a dramatic moment. How we gotten there, I wasn't sure. I do have confidence in my craft, but I'm not confident in the art of it. I know how to write things technically, but I don't know how to write that big dramatic moment. I have to figure out how to do that. Well, I said, I'm not sure if you can figure out how to write a big dramatic moment, because big dramatic moments, by definitions, don't come from the part of the mind that can figure things out. That's why it's called drama. It has less to do with rational formula and more to do with a spontaneous burst of emotional truth. Yeah, he said, I guess. So for that, I continued, you'll need to learn to access your own authenticity and feeling. Otherwise, how can you convey it to others? I don't know how you can access your authenticity when you seem to think you should be someone other than who you are, wanting something other than what you really want, and doing something other than what you really want to be doing. Yeah, you're right, he said, sighing. I just got to figure out how to do all of that. Oi, well, you're sort of doing it again. Maybe there's nothing to figure out here at all. Maybe there's just some insight you might want to let in. Your subconscious mind will do the rest. The subconscious is a better organizer than your conscious mind will ever be. He is probably wondering at this point, who is this crazy lady in the back seat? My cappuccino is kicking in now. The universe can organize itself. The embryo doesn't need to figure out how to become a baby. Buds don't have to figure out how to become blossoms. Nature has that plan all figured out. Or you can look at it this way, I continued. Poor guy, I'm on a roll now. Think of a pile of iron shavings. Now, what's the best way to form shavings into a pattern, using your fingers or introducing a magnet? Your internal self is like a magnet. Call it Christ or your inner light or whatever. There's a spirit within you that naturally attracts all the patterns and details that would form your most beautiful life. Look at what it arranged for you this morning. I laughed as we pulled up to the Los Angeles airport, and I searched for the signs of Southwest Airlines. Yeah, I was thinking that, he said. Now, what did you say you do? Oh, I just talk about this stuff a lot. I smiled and I got out of the car. The universe had indeed self-organized that morning. The young man received information that might help him in his work if he was open to it. And I got a demonstration of how people hold themselves back by not remembering who they are, suggesting to me that I should include the issue in this book and adding it to my work. Yet neither of us would have been so served had we have not been open-hearted and open-minded enough to engage in friendly dialogue with the person in front of us. He had introduced himself to me. I had asked him about himself. Those two things, seemingly meaningless moments in human connection, opened the door through which the universe could provide its gifts to both of us. Neither one of us could get the gift, however, unless we made ourselves available to receive it. He could have been preoccupied and not at all interested in interacting with the client in the back seat, and I could have been preoccupied and not at all interested in interacting with him. These are the kinds of ways we turn down miracles all the time. We fail to realize what we have and need is available to us at every moment. I'm going to say that again. We fail to realize that what we need is available to us at every moment. Wow. Most of the time, we block our reception of a miracle by believing it couldn't be that easy. But do flowers not grow easily? We think that we know what we need and what we need to do to make things happen. But do we really? Just try strategizing a miracle. People have no idea what they miss in life by discounting other people and the gifts they bring. In a universe where all is designed to provide us with perfect lessons in every moment, there are lessons awaiting us in the most unexpected places. Perhaps you made the mistake of thinking someone wasn't important, discounting that person in some way, only later to learn that he or she was exactly the person who might have helped you. Sometimes we're so consumed with becoming successful that we forget the importance of being successful human beings, of deeply listening to other people, of showing up spontaneously for whatever life has to offer. Those of us who have made that mistake have found that it was ultimately good for business. My father used to say frequently, proud days soon pass. There is no way to rationally formulate or predict what our next miracle will come from. In almost every moment, we're at the right place and at the right time if we step fully into the moment at hand. There is no way to rationally formulate or predict where our next miracle will come from. In almost every moment, we're at the right place at the right time if we step fully into the moment at hand. That's really weird. I was supposed to read that twice. It's amazing how much our ego would separate work from love. We seem to think that success depends on what we do, but not necessarily on who we are. And nothing can be further from the truth. Anything that deters the flow of love deters the emergence of our success. One common way that people deny the flow of miracles is by rejecting relationships on the basis that I'm too busy with my career. There's no greater career than being fully alive, fully present, and fully loving human being. Someone you're turning away from because the relationship will take too much time might be the one with whom you could have the experiences that pave the way to the very miracles that you wish for. I personally think when you say that, you just don't want that person. When the person comes along that's your person, I don't care if you're on your way to Mars on that spaceship, you will stop and tell that spaceship, I catch the next one, and get with that person. When somebody says to you, oh, I'm just too busy, they too busy for you. And it's okay. You're not their person. It is okay. Just know that we make time for the people we want to make time for, because ultimately we're all very selfish, and it's me, 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 me. So if somebody makes you feel good, you're going to make time for them. You don't care how you make them feel. All you care about is how they make you feel. So yeah, if that person is your person and you want it, you won't even go to the moon. You will stay right there with that person. So if somebody is not giving you what you desire, it's because they're just not that into you. That was a movie like that. They're just not that into you. And it's okay. Go find somebody who is that into you, because you're worth being that into. But understand this, getting that into yourself is the best way to match that energy with somebody else who will be so into themselves, but also into you. And that selfishness will be, they will want to be with you as much as you want to be with them. But if you find yourself always being the second choice, the afterthought, move on. You don't have to be nobody's afterthought. You also don't have to take up somebody's whole entire mind too. You got to be that selfish. It's a balance in this thing. What was that? The universe doesn't categorize between love and work. And because in reality, everything is love and everything is work. Never think that turning away from love is a smart thing to do, or any sort of good career move. When you stop the flow of love pouring forth from your heart, you stop the flow of love pouring forth to your door. That applies as much to the flow of money as to the flow of anything else. Let it flow in from you, and it will flow to you always. The next chapter, chapter 13, meditation, I'm going to save that chapter for tomorrow, because actually after that, this book has 16 chapters. So I'm going to be able to finish this book this week, so that next week, I think I'm going to start with this. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. So let me just give you a little taste of it. Let me just flip open a page. All right. So if you don't know what this book about, this is about a girl, 13 or 14, coming of age. She hasn't had her cycle yet. She's worried about her body, becoming a woman's body, and she talks to God a lot. So I'm going to just go to one of the times she talks to God. And I at this point in my life, at the age she was at, I was very much into Christianity, into the church. And when I saw this book and saw how she talked to God, I started doing the same thing. I've been journaling since I was in the 6th grade. She says, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. I just did an exercise to help me grow. Have you thought about it, God? About my growing? I mean, I got a bra now. Wouldn't it be nice if I had something to put in it? Of course. If you don't think I'm ready, I'll understand. I'm having a test in school tomorrow. Please let me get a good grade on it, God. I want you to be proud of me. Thank you. I saw this and I read this and I started to do that. I would write letters to God. I had a whole book. Letters to God in my Bible, and I would write in the Bible. And unfortunately, when my parents divorced, my father decided to be very mean, and I had like boxes of books of journals that I had written to God, letters I'd written to myself, letters I'd written to friends, or friends had written to me, because we would write back and forth in school. And he decided to throw all of that away. It was very hurtful when I found out he did that. I was very hurt that he decided to throw away such a big piece of me, because he was angry because he ruined the marriage with my mother. He ruined it. Now, people say, oh, it takes two to ruin it. No, one person can ruin it and the other person can say, I've had enough. I'm out this bitch. And that's what it was in the case of my parents, where he ruined it and my mother had just had enough and decided she wasn't going to take any more of this. But he threw that away, and it was very hurtful. I didn't talk to my father. He left this planet without me speaking to him for some other things. That was just one of them. But anyway, I remembered I would say, dear God, just like she did, because that's where I got it from. Dear God, and I would tell God everything. I used to also write Michael Jackson every single day, and I would give the letter to my mom to mail from work. And I found out later that she wasn't mailing them. She was reading them, finding out what it is I was doing. I couldn't figure out why this lady's always one step ahead of me, because I ain't had the good sense to know she read my letters to Michael Jackson. And she told me she didn't mail not one of them. I said, Ma, you're the reason I'm not married to Michael Jackson right now, because you didn't mail my letters. Last thing I'm going to say. I actually decided to become an actress. I didn't know I had the talent. I just wanted to become an actress because I thought if I want to marry Michael Jackson, I got to be on his station. You know, I can't sing and I can't dance. And I just started taking acting classes. I didn't know I was so talented until they told me, oh my God, she's amazing. And I went to Howard University for, you know, and was majoring in theater, which is no easy feat. They have only 20 slots per year, and over 200 people apply for those spots. And I got a spot, so which means I was damn good. Anywho, I found my passion because I thought I was going to marry Michael Jackson. Of course, I didn't marry Michael Jackson, and it's all good. Anywho, we'll be back tomorrow with the Law of Divine Compensation. I'm really grateful for the people who listen to me. Thank you for your time, because that means a lot to me, because time is the one thing we all have, and we can use it any way we want, and you decide to use it listening to me. You can wash dishes while you're listening to me. You can, you know, do some exercise. You can do whatever you want. You just get to listen to a book. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.